NVIDIA became the #1 company in the world, becoming the first to surpass a $5 trillion valuation.
Nvidia made history, becoming the first company in the world to cross a $5 trillion valuation.
In 1992, 3 engineers sat in a Denny's booth. Coffee, notebooks, an idea. That's all what they had. One of them, a Taiwanese immigrant who'd survived hell as a child, would go on to build a company worth $4 trillion. But before we get to that, you need to understand what he suffered. This isn't a story about genius or luck. It's about surviving what should have destroyed him. This is Jensen Huang, and by the end, you'll understand what it really takes to change the world. February 17th, 1963, Tainan, Taiwan, a nation holding its breath, a family clinging to hope. His mother, teaching her sons 10 English words a day, every day, not because she loved language, because she knew English was their only armor, their only way out. In 1972, they sent him away, alone, 9 years old, to America, to relatives they barely knew. They believed it was safer. They were wrong. What they didn't know, he wasn't going to a boarding school, he was going to hell. In December 1972, Clay County, Kentucky, mountains, poverty, silence. 9-year-old Jensen steps off the bus, walks into a building full of teenagers covered in tattoos. His roommate, 17, knife scars on his arms. That first night, Jensen lies awake, listening, fights, screaming, violence echoing through the halls. He was 9 years old. Every morning, he walks across this bridge to class, but older boys wait. Their game? Throw him off. Not to scare him, to kill him. He learns to run, to watch, to read body language like his life depends on it. Because it does. His job? Cleaning toilets for teens who tried to murder him. Years later, as CEO of a $1 trillion company, he'd say, "I cleaned more toilets than probably anyone in this room," not with shame, with pride, because he learned work has dignity. All work. One night, he notices something. His roommate, 17, covered in tattoos, can't read. Jensen makes a deal. "I'll teach you to read if you teach me to bench press." The older kid is stunned. A 9-year-old offering to help him. Word spreads. The beating slow, then stop. The bridge becomes passable. Jensen survives Oneida, not through violence, but through intelligence, through seeing humanity where nobody else did. At 11, his parents rescue him, bring him to Portland, Oregon. For the first time since that plane ride, he feels safe, and something extraordinary happens. Released from survival mode, his mind explodes. He graduates high school at 16, early, hungry, starving for proof that his suffering had meaning. His first job, Denny's, dishwasher, busboy, night shift, $3 a week. And he loved it, because after Oneida, after that bridge, after those toilets, this was freedom. This was dignity. His mother's voice echoes. Intelligence, Jensen. Intelligence is the only thing no one can take from you. At 17, he walks up to Lori Mills. 19, one of 3 women in a class of 250 engineers. "Do you want to see my homework? If you study with me every Sunday," he says, "I promise, you'll get straight A's." She says yes. One day, while studying, he tells her, "I'm going to be a CEO by 30. And when I am, I want you to marry me." She believes him. In 1992, at LSY Logic, Jensen meets 2 other engineers, Chris Malachowski, Curtis Preem. They start meeting, talking, dreaming about graphics, about chips, about the future. One day, someone says it. "We should start a company." But there's a problem, big one. All 3 have families, mortgages, kids, stable jobs. Starting a company means giving all of that up. Then, Curtis Preem does something extraordinary. He quits. Just quits. Puts everything on the line. That breaks the deadlock. On February 17th, 1993, Jensen's 30th birthday, he officially leaves LSI Logic. He kept his promise to Lori, but keeping the company alive, that would be much harder. They scrape together $40,000, work out of Curtis's townhouse, no office, no factory, just coffee, notebooks, and a wild idea. They need a name. After trying to combine their names, they stumble on a Latin word, invidia, meaning envy, the engine of ambition. They drop the I. They're left with NVIDIA. Their first product, the NV1, launches in November 1995. brilliant, sophisticated, built for quads, not triangles. Then Microsoft releases DirectX 1.0, which uses triangles. Suddenly, NVIDIA's chip is incompatible. They manufactured 250,000 units, around 1,000 sold, 249,000 returned, worthless. NVIDIA has 1 month of payroll left. 30 days until bankruptcy. Jensen lays off half his team, engineers who believed in him. Office lights dimmed to save electricity. Silicon Valley starts laughing. NVIDIA, they're done. Jensen doesn't panic. He learns. He studies the failure, dissects it, then calls his remaining engineers together. We're going to build one more chip, Riva 128, and we're going to tape out once. Tape out means no fixes, no updates. One shot. If it fails, we're done. The company dies. He makes a decision no one else would make. We're going to build the software first. Before manufacturing, test everything on emulators, simulate every scenario. Only when it's perfect do we tape out. Nobody does this in 1997. The risk is insane. Engineers sleep under desks, live on coffee, because everyone understands. This is the last shot. August 1997, Riva 128 ships. It works. On the first try. Within 4 months, 1 million units sold. By December, NVIDIA goes public. From bankruptcy to IPO in 1 year. Through the late 90s and 2000s, NVIDIA dominates gaming. But Jensen is thinking about something else, artificial intelligence. In 2006, NVIDIA releases CUDA, a framework letting developers use GPUs for general computing. Wall Street hates it. Analysts say gaming is where the money is. Jensen ignores them, spends 5 years looking like a fool, giving away CUDA for free, traveling the world. Try this, see what happens. November 30th, 2022, OpenAI releases ChatGPT. 5 days, 1 million users. 2 months, 100 million. Every single interaction runs on NVIDIA's GPUs. The AI revolution begins, and Jensen Huang owns the infrastructure. Companies beg for GPUs, waiting lists, desperation, stock price explodes. $200 in 2022, $600 in 2023, $900 in 2024, over $1,000 in 2025. NVIDIA hits $1 trillion, then $2 trillion, then $3 trillion. In July 2025, briefly, the first company to hit $4 trillion market cap. He never changed, still wears his black leather jacket, still walks the factory floor talking to engineers, still remembers washing dishes at Denny's. People ask, what makes Jensen different? The answer isn't genius. It's hunger, not for money, for understanding, for solving problems nobody else sees yet. He gives generously, $50 million to Oregon State. And here's the part that'll break you. He donates to Oneida Baptist Institute, the reform school where he was tortured, where he scrubbed toilets, where teenagers tried to murder him on that bridge. That place taught me resilience, he says. It taught me I could overcome anything. Jensen Huang's story proves something most people need to hear. Your beginning does not determine your ending. What determines your ending is your hunger, your vision, your willingness to learn from failure. That's the Jensen Huang story. You know what separates people who watch stories like this and people who actually become like Jensen? One thing, they take action. If you're still here, if you made it through this entire video without leaving, then you already know this story deserves to be heard. So here's what I know you're thinking. I should share this. And before you do, hit that like button, make it social, let other people know this video is worth watching. Subscribe, you won't regret it. Thanks for watching.